Welcome to the Happy Healthy Chico podcast. I'm Dr. Shane Smith. Come join us as we explore insightful conversations, expert advice, and practical tips on how to live your best life. Let's embark on this journey to wellness together. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Dr. Shane Smith. Welcome back to another episode of Happy Healthy Chico. Today, I'm sitting with a new friend of mine. His name is Tim Vanderheiden. Did I say that right?
Correct.
All
yes.
right. And he's the president and owner and CEO of a really amazing manufacturing company called Safepath right here in Chico. I didn't know about it, but as I got to know Tim, I have been fascinated by what this man does, and so I'm super stoked to have you on the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
I really appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
And he's got this great inventor's mind, and I can tell he's still super duper excited about what he does. And so we're going to ask him some questions. He's going to share with us what that company does, and then he's got a second company we're going to bring up in a minute. But that's a whole other level of awesomeness, in my opinion. So Tim, tell us about Safepath. Kind of what is it, and then maybe how you got started in it.
Sure. Safepath is right now we're the largest molder of recycled tire material for ADA and code compliance products. So if you've ever seen a rubber ramp going into a restaurant or something like that, or any kind of field turf or playground, those are our products. And we've been doing this for about 26 years. I started this after graduating law school, was teaching at the university, and a couple of marketing people came to me and asked, what is this law called ADA? What does this mean? So I look at this gigantic 4-inch binder and I read through it and I go, oh my gosh, there's going to be so many opportunities. This is going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, which indeed has succeeded. At which point they were looking at threshold ramps for wheelchair access, and they were all out of aluminum. And I remembered seeing speed bumps made out of recycled tire material up in Oregon outside, and I go, why can't we make ramps out of recycled tire material? And so with no money, I took just with $5,000, I bought a mold, and we made our first parts up in Oregon, and that was the beginning of it. I do remember the start was tough. Quite honestly, if I was today, and if I instructed somebody to have a business plan, my business plan would have failed, and I never would have started, because what I didn't know was you don't start with one SKU.
Right.
Start a company. Now we have hundreds of SKUs, and in just one product line, it's over 26 for just the transitions.
That's pretty remarkable. So by SKUs, you're saying those are like different shaped items that fit in to various components of a building? We do compression molding, and that's used with recycled tire material and binder. And there's a different kind of blend for each one. Each one has its own steel mold. Some of them are multi-cavity, of which we make many in one mold, or maybe one is a 100-pound part would be in a single mold. We use 400-ton presses. It's compression molding, and they take anywhere from 4 minutes to 20 minutes to make a part. That's crazy. So not only are you providing the material to actually make a building into an ADA compliant building for wheelchair access,
yes.
But you're also, it sounds like you're in the recycling business too, so it's kind of a green.
It's a completely green program. I know we have landings, which are the maneuverable clearance areas. These are typically 6 by 72 flat areas with transitions around the sides, so people are not rolling back when they enter a doorway. Particularly that shows up in mostly commercial applications, but also in veterans and where you have standards that require compliance with commercial standards, that happens. And we also have court edge, where we did a lot of the NBA courts. We do a lot of those transitions coming off the 2-inch and 3-inch high wooden court systems, and then we can transition around them and make them accessible.
Very cool. So any of those little awkward lips and stuff that people are going to trip over, or a wheelchair is going to bang into, or I assume somebody even with a cane or a walker, that could be an issue.
Correct. Universal design is important. We don't have that in this country. We'll see anytime you'll see a vertical rise from a 1/2 inch up to around 6, we take care of. And there's a lot of those in the existing construction. We're also finding that in new construction, which should be kind of alarming in some ways, but it's just because even our technology of making door systems are not up to speed where they can make them compliant at the same time take the wind loads like in the coastal areas.
I got you. So, well, speaking of that, I think Florida had another hurricane, but I would think that if you had some sort of a lip edge around, a door or something like that, would it help block water potentially? Or
Yes,
I know
it does.
design,
Yeah, in fact, we just had a special order for an emergency shipment down to that area.
I'll be darned. So a pretty multifaceted product.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. That is way cool. Yeah, I'm finding out all these people that live in Chico that do fascinating things, and you guys make that stuff here in town, at least some of it?
We make all of it in Chico. We're vertically integrated. We have our operation, our plant. We have close to 30 employees right now. And the exciting part is we've advanced our technology, and in order to stay ahead, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, if you're standing still, you're dying. Complacency is not something for anybody that wants to be in business. And so in that vein, we've just invested in a $250,000 water jet CNC machine. So now all of our parts are cut within a thousandth of an inch. So we'll have 8% grades on the back, 2% grades on the sides when we're butting together, so they fit perfectly.
Wow.
Which is very tough to do. And if you know about compression molding, it's not a perfect size. It's not like injection molding. So you'll get different sizes depending on the weather, depending on the humidity of the day, depending on the type of blend you have. Winter versus summer is completely different cook times, and the sizes. Even though these are steel molds, the products will come out in like a cookie. It'll come out. Maybe that cookie's not the perfect size to the next cookie.
Gotcha.
So we'll go ahead, and with our new cutting systems, we're really excited about it.
So you can what's the word? Well, take those cookies and make them exactly the same
perfect
size and
cookies.
shape. Yeah,
Exactly right.
I'll be darned.
And then to add to that, again, advancing the technology, I've spent 10 years researching how to color recycled tire material. I've always been I did a whole project in San Juan School District, and I went down and I saw all the little kids' footprints on this black rubber, and I was crushed. I was crestfallen. I was like, gosh, this should look better. So I went to task working on a colorant. There's EPDM colors you can use. You can use iron oxide. A lot of that stuff is very short-lived. So what we did is we came up with a coating technology that's now patented, or patent pending, I should say, that it has incredible colors, and I have the interest of all of the rubber industry paying attention to this. I was even invited back to the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association, where Bridgestone and Pirelli asked me to present, and I was introducing these kinds of colors.
So,
technology.
Like for the tire industry, my first thought was the old white walls, but like with what you're doing, we could get like green walls if we want.
We can do. We can make. You will not recognize something made out of recycled tire with this technology, which is very exciting because it opens up this tabletop could be recycled tires, and you wouldn't know.
Wow, that's fascinating. And you wouldn't have that smelly rubber smell or anything smell like a playground. It would
Absolutely
be coated or whatever, huh?
Yeah, we can do clean rooms and we can do gyms, and they clean much easier because rubber itself is porous. This takes that away.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So that's what I mean. This guy is so fun to talk to because you almost sound like a chemist too, like a mad scientist.
I know more about that than I ever wanted to know.
That's awesome. Well, like you said too, though, I mean, you're always trying to be cutting edge, and you're always trying to learn and grow, and that's how industries get produced, right? And created, and there's new opportunities and options and jobs, and the whole thing is pretty cool that it's also a green company. I mean, that's pretty remarkable, and you're serving a population that needs a lot of help.
Yes, we have over 60 million tires in California, and only 32 to 34% are recycled every year. So that means the rest go where.
Right.
And so we need to do everything we can to advance that usage of tires, waste tires, and keep them out of landfills and land cells.
Absolutely, because recently I think there's a movement trying to get like just organic material out of trash cans and causing residents to have another bin for food waste and stuff.
Right.
But and I'm no expert, but it seems like if we could tackle the tire industry, that would take us way further to support our landfills. Not to say that taking organic material is bad, but that seems like this would be a quicker and easier way, more effective.
We can do a better job,
right.
I believe. And especially with the advancement of technology, it's the customer that is going to drive the market, not what we think.
For sure. Yeah. That's pretty remarkable. All right, well, let's switch gears. Now, you recently, I think, had come up with another product, different industry, where kind of the same idea, though. You're taking this material that otherwise would end up in the landfill, and you're turning it into something that can pick up oil.
Yes, it's a hydrocarbon absorption material. We've patented that recently. That is what happens when you recycle carpet. There's different types of carpets. You'll have polyethylene, you'll have wool, you'll have nylon 6/6, and all of those. They grind that material up, and they'll take that material and bale it. 40% of what's remaining is the backing of the material, and that ends up with being mostly a carbon, different types of materials, but mostly it's the glue that holds the backing of the carpet. And so we take that up, we clean it, sift it, and then it turns into what looks like a gray sand. And so in my dutiful studies to try and figure out how to use this material, putting it in rubber, we found it was a non-performing additive. It simply sucked up all the binders that were inside our rubber formulas. And I'm thinking, gosh, this is not going to work well because it's going to make our products more expensive while we're trying to double dip in the green market. Subsequently, we had a hydraulic oil spill at the plant. And so I told these were brand new machines. I told everybody to stop doing what they're doing. I'm going to call a hazmat team. I come back, and the material's gone. All the oil on the floor, which was about a 25 by 25 square foot spill. And I said, where'd it go? And the guy goes, it's gone, boss. That stuff you've been using for tires is now picks up this oil. And I reached and grabbed it, and the floor was dry.
Wow.
And I'm like, the light bulbs went off. And so there went on another year of studies and marketing and research and patents and scientists. And then we were able to come up with the newest hydrocarbon absorption material made out of recycled post-consumer tire carpet.
That's remarkable. What a happy accident.
That's how, it's funny, that's how a lot of inventions get made.
100%. Yeah, that's incredible. So again, another industry where we're taking material that I assume otherwise would end up in a landfill.
3.5 billion pounds of carpet going to landfills each year.
Good gracious. Yeah, that's a big number.
It's a big number.
So now we're taking that away from the landfills. So being better with the environment, and then now converting it into something that is also causing harm to the environment, oil spills, or hydraulic, or any of those things, hydrocarbon. Right. Sounds like it's way better than kitty litter, which is...
It does. It performs incredibly better than... We've got testing that we've been doing for years, but now these little, I was mentioning, we have small little samples where you can actually test yourself. Right. In your own office. So it's kind of fun to do that. It's like a little child's experiment, but it's fun because it bypasses the documentation of lab reports, which is okay, but seeing it yourself is convincing.
Way more powerful.
Way more powerful. Correct.
For sure. So for residents, if I change, for the at-home gearhead who's changing their tires and their oil and they're spilling on their garage or in their dirt driveway or whatever, this stuff goes in there and kind of saves the day. And then it's dried up, and then can you just toss that, or what do you do with it?
Typically, what's required legally, you'd have to put that back into an EPA landfill, and that's what a lot of the auto shops do, and stuff like that. The brand name is Absorbs Well, and it's the only 100% post-consumer recycled carpet absorption material there is on the market.
Yeah, super cool. And I was asking you earlier, like this has got industrial and commercial applications on top of just residential, guys like me who change our own oils.
Exactly right. Right, and that we're looking at, municipalities that are interested in staying green, and then also, and the best part about this stuff is 40% better than all the other diatomaceous earth type products.
Oh, as far as absorbing.
So what you're going to be, putting away or disposing of is going to be half your 55-gallon drum is going to be full, while using the other material will be completely full, and you're still paying the same amount to go to a landfill. EPA regulated. So, and different states have different ways of disposing it. If this was used, California does not, but in certain states they do burn. If they were to burn this material, you could use it again.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So there's great potential. New York, Illinois, Oregon are all looking at. New York just passed a law requiring recycled carpet. So we're seeing more of that come out of California and moving towards people being more concerned about that, because it doesn't break down in the landfill. It's a very, especially thinking about nylon and polyester.
And so we can say, like, a local guy from Chico kind of started that industry?
Yes,
that's
absolutely true.
That's pretty cool.
And it's not me. I have a great team of folks that I couldn't do any of this without them. So it's really important to make sure that you've got the right people on the bus, and that you can have your group of folks that really can support that vision.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you need a proper team, and you couple of my coaches have told me over and over again, like, you're not going to do this alone.
No.
One of the coolest ones, and I don't know who to even give credit to because I've heard it a few different times in a few different ways, but one of my mentors had said, like, don't be afraid to give up equity of that which does not exist yet. So bringing on a team to help you, even if you gave up a piece of this thing that doesn't exist yet, you couldn't do it without them. So don't be afraid to give them a piece of this thing that you're building so that it can be built.
Right.
And that just was a different way to me to talk about teamwork. And in order to get something moving, sometimes you need, well, every time you're going to need people.
Correct. And it's the analogy of the grape and the watermelon, right? The equity part. So what we've done is also bring in folks that support the mission and be able to just have a group of folks that see in it. And the idea is a lot of inventors that I see. I ran into one guy at a trade show. He spent $600,000 on patents, hasn't sold a single thing. So the idea is a lot of inventor type minds that have to guard against counting those chickens before the eggs are even laid.
100%.
So you have to be balanced on that and make sure you've got your sales and marketing figured out. Great inventions there's all kinds of patents out there, but have they ever made any money?
Gotcha. Yeah, right. It's hard to want to keep moving forward if there's no capital behind it to make it go. You know? So.
It's tough. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's absolutely tough. I also wanted to bring up some of the challenges on the tire side and the international level.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing a lot of toxic rubber materials coming in through the Pacific Rim, and these are so toxic. They're 1,500 times above EPA levels. And so particularly my group, people in wheelchairs, veterans that are being sold these materials, will have physical contact inhalation because of the off-gassing, and also possibly ingestion, depending if it's coming off the material onto their chairs and they go eat something.
Oh, yeah.
So we have the 3 standards for that toxicity induction into human beings. But moreover, what's happening is that there's materials being sold to the U.S. Veterans Administration, stamped "Made in the USA," that are made of these toxic chemicals with benzos and things that are so toxic that they're not allowed in the U.S. But yet we're finding them in these materials coming over, and you will be hopefully hearing about this. And thank you for this venue to be able to explain it.
Yeah.
And we're going to be moving forward with the agenda of, folks, we have to be able to be aware of the stuff. If your material smells and you bought a rubber product from whatever big box, Amazon, wherever it might be, if it smells, it's probably toxic.
That's a powerful bit of advice. So yeah, pay attention, folks. If especially I can see getting even a Tupperware. You open these boxes up and you go to put your food in it, and then that stuff is if it's leaching poison, essentially,
it will off-gas.
Yeah.
And off-gassing is the first telltale sign that you've got a product that's probably not right for you.
And so it's being stamped essentially illegally or immorally, or however you want to
both
say
of them.
it. Yeah, and it says it's being made here, but it's not, and then it's getting shipped into our ports and then distributed amongst our populace
and the veterans.
Yeah, and they're a pretty at-risk bunch already.
Agreed.
All right. Well, I don't know, as a citizen, what are the kind of things that we can do? If I order a product off Amazon, it stinks. Is there like a consumer number, or is there an agency that you reach out to?
I would reach back to your vendor or the person that sold it to you and be able to find out, and say, hey, look, this stuff off gases. These notices, probably by the 1st of this year, these notices will go out and people will be aware of this. And I think that will help advance this cause, especially a couple large newspapers will pick it up. And then it's about awareness. And to be honest, the people selling this stuff don't even know. It's not. There's no malfeasance here. There's no intention. They're just simply. It's a matter of awareness.
It ended up in their warehouse and they're distributing it,
and they're getting it, and people can get it at a cheaper price, and they can get something made in the USA, not realizing that it's made with toxic materials.
Yeah, understood.
Very often toxic.
So this will be coming out. So at the time of this recording, this is in the late summer, early fall of 24. So you're saying by 25, we ought to start seeing.
We should be seeing some notices of that.
Okay, good to know. Thank you for that. And we'll see. Maybe we can have you back on in 6 months or so if this is something that moves forward. If you're helping lead the charge, it'd be great to have the people kind of know
Thank you.
What's the next step?
That's what's great to being in Chico, right?
Love it. Yeah.
Some of these things come out of a little tiny town. They go, "Where's Chico?"
Right.
And we're making national impact on a lot of the things we do here.
Yeah, and it sounds like something like, this could be global. I'm thinking oil spills, and who doesn't have tires and those kind of waste issues? That's a global issue that you're tackling. So we appreciate you coming on the show and sharing. I always end the show, Tim, and I don't know if I told you this beforehand, but I always end the show with one question, and that is, you're a local guy, so what do you do in Chico to stay happy and healthy?
Oh, we do. I'm very involved in the nonprofit world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very in the philanthropic area as far as helping out those with mental illness, those that are unhoused, those that have physical disabilities.
Fantastic.
So we're very active in that, and it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
So we get to impact lives. I'm part of an organization that we took 200 plus people off the street last year from the streets and are permanently living in housing right now.
That's fantastic.
That's how you fix homelessness.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
if you want to talk about that, that's a whole nother.
I'd be happy to do that.
Subject matter, but it's really rewarding. And then we have great music venues, and the food venues here are fantastic too.
Yeah,
so
I love this
and
town.
the people, it's so great.
So you're feeding your heart and your soul. So I love it, and you're helping the people of Chico in the meantime. So awesome. Well, thank you so much once again, Tim, for having you on the show. Super duper appreciate what you're doing for our whole planet and especially our little town here of Chico. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Happy Healthy Chico. We'll be back next week with another episode. In the meantime, stay happy and healthy. Take care. All right, thanks for joining us on the Healthy Happy Chico podcast. I'm Dr. Shane Smith. Come join us every week where we explore insightful conversations, expert advice, and practical tips on living your best life.